I gave people all the stuff they really needed. Social security checks, utility bills, TV guide.
I want a TV guidance counselor. TV guidance counselor. Staying up to watch all night, and everything's gonna be alright with my TV guidance counselor.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to TV Guidance Counselor. I, as always, am Ken Reed, your TV Guidance Counselor, and this is the show, TV Guidance Counselor. I'll try not to say TV Guidance Counselor too many more times. This is the show where I use back issues of TV Guide magazine from my personal collection as the inspiration for our conversation. My guest this week is comedian Jeremy Alder. He is an ex-preacher, stand-up. He has an album that came out on Blonde Medicine called Almost a Grown Man back in April. Very funny. Stream it, buy it. Homeschooled preacher and super funny, super nice dude. In my brain, those don't go together, but it does with Jeremy. Had a great time talking to him, so you will enjoy this conversation. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of TV Guidance Counselor with my guest, Jeremy Alder.
TV is my friend, and it has been always there for me in time of need.
Live via satellite from North Carolina. Jeremy, how are you, sir?
Hey, what's up, Ken? I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
I don't know if this reference will be will land with you, and the listener, of course, can't see this, but we were discussing before. You have a little kind of man closet area where you can record your podcasts.
Yeah.
But it looks so much like Hannibal Lecter's cell from Manhunter, specifically, not the later one, but specifically Manhunter. It's like exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, I do look up to him, and I take his interior decorating advice. So you should see the rest of my house, man. It's
It's a simple understatement in here, and really, no. I mean, look at my house. I always tell people that this room looks like this, and the rest of the house. My deal with my wife is it looks like adults live here. So
yes,
we do what we got to do. But
right.
I just keep thinking Manhunter, which is one of my favorite movies. So that's probably on me. But speaking of psychopaths, I have no transition for that. You looked very nervous for a second there. So you picked an issue here from December 14th, 1991, which I think is your birthday?
Yeah, that was my 12th birthday.
Okay. So we're of similar age. And at this time you're growing up in Texas and you're being homeschooled, which to me, having not been homeschooled, but in my elitist Northeast way, you know how people can be like a comics comic. Being homeschooled in Texas to me is like being the homeschoolers homeschooled.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That is pure homeschool country. Yeah, man, no, I was homeschooled, like hardcore homeschooled. Like this was pre-internet. It was just me, my mom, my brothers and sisters, no TV. Until,
You've never seen any of this stuff, really.
Well, so I would watch TV at my friend's house and my cousins and my grandparents. But I think around the time I was 12, we got a TV in my parents' bedroom. They kept it in the bedroom, and it was only for like watching family movies or like if they were burning the Branch Davidian compound. We watched that as a family.
You got it. You either watch it on TV or you go down there.
That's right. And we weren't that far. We were only a few hours away, and we thought about it. So yeah, I did not regularly watch TV. I would catch episodes of things here and there. And like I said, it was all like mediated through friends and other family. So it was actually really fun to go through a TV guide and be reminded of some of these old shows that I have a very just kind of surface level understanding of, you know.
Had you ever flipped through a TV guide before?
Yeah, I think my grandma subscribed.
Okay.
And so I remember flipping through some. I remember seeing it. I think they sold it like the grocery store checkout aisle.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I would see it there.
It's the number one. It was the largest print run magazine in the world for decades.
Really?
By like an order of magnitude, by like millions of copies.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because where else would you have gotten that information, right?
You really
I mean, I guess the
wouldn't.
newspaper sometimes printed.
The newspaper would have a free one, but they would not have like the bells and whistles and articles. It also wasn't a handy pocket-sized digest.
Right.
Carried around.
Yeah, with all the juicy gossip too.
Yeah, and this is a really interesting issue. So this is sort of 90210 has sort of blown up. And this is a big cover story about it. But the way they've structured the article here is they have two different writers who are sort of reviewing 90210. And one of them is Jane Pratt, who, if people listen to the show, I talk about all the time. And Jane Pratt is a certified genius. She created Sassy Magazine in the 80s and 90s, which is an amazing magazine that I had a subscription to as a kid, despite it being for teenage girls. But it's super smart, really well written, very hip. So she's writing the teen's point of view for and then the woman who they have writing the parent point of view is Jacqueline Mitchard, who's a contributing editor to Parenting Magazine. So it's like this generational, and it's really well written, and they're both very good writers, and it's such a cool just structure for an article about 90210.
No, I agree. I read it actually, and I was struck by like how really good the writing was for a TV Guide review. I imagine nowadays they would have had like ChatGPT write it, and it would have been slop. But it was really good, and interestingly, they both seemed to really like 90210.
Right. For slightly different reasons,
for
too.
Slightly different, yeah. I remember 90210. I remember my cousin having a poster of, Jason Priestley and Luke Perry. Yeah. And I caught a few episodes. I was fascinated by it because, having been homeschooled, it was like this whole other
sci-fi
world. It was for real. Not just because they were incredibly rich, but they went to actual school, Right. So I saw it as like, it was like watching National Geographic or something. Like I was just like learning this.
You need a voiceover.
An American
exactly. Teenager will now, spook them as they go on a run.
And I wanted the Jason Priestley haircut.
We all did.
We all did, right?
Yeah. I'm still going for it.
You are.
In my mid-40s, so that's where I'm at. Also, total side note, one of my favorite bands is this punk band called The Damned, and 70s punk band, but they put out a record in like 2001. And there's a song about like the internet and like people pretending to be people they're not. But the lyric is, she thinks that I'm 6'3", looks like Jason Priestley. And I'm like, that's a 60-year-old man writing a lyric right there, my friends, in 2003. That's the reference he's breaking out there. Absolutely. Yeah. Then there's a cool article in here about all the new movies that are coming out based on old TV shows. So you got, Star Trek, obviously, which is at Star Trek 6, but the Addams Family movies. There was a terrible Car 54 movie, and Car 54 is one of my all-time favorite TV shows, and that movie's god-awful. But there was a huge number in the early to mid-90s of these movies based on TV shows. Brady Bunch. Did you see any of those?
Right. Ooh, gosh. I don't think so. I saw movies based on cartoons. Like I remember seeing the Garfield movie.
Oh yeah, or like George of the Jungle.
I remember during the Garfield movie, my mom made us all get up and walk out in the middle of it.
Why?
I'm dead serious.
During the sex scene?
Yeah, we realized we were in the wrong theater.
Yep.
No, there was actually a scene. It's ridiculous where like a little, that little devil shows up on one shoulder and a little angel, and it's Garfield. So he listens to the devil. And my mom was like, that's a bridge too far. Not my kids. My kids ain't listening to the devil. They're not learning no.
Get behind me, Satan.
That's right. So I was mortified. We got up and walked out of the theater, me and, it was a pretty big family. So, everyone saw us leave.
What was the religious sect that you grew up in?
I mean, fundamentalists broadly. We went to like these independent, like storefront, like churches. Just one charismatic, entrepreneurial dude who'd start a church. We went to a few of those.
But they weren't showing you like that weird underground post-apocalyptic movies they would make for Christians.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, those were the movies I was allowed to see, and I was traumatized.
As you should be.
No, 100%. There's one called A Thief in the Night, which was very popular, and my parents dropped me off. I was probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old, and I went with my older brother to this like youth group function in the basement of this storefront church, and they had us all sit down in a dark room, and they put on this movie. And I mean, the premise is this woman wakes up and her husband's been raptured and she's been left behind, and the one world government has taken over, which is the UN. And they are requiring people to get the mark of the beast, which is like a barcode on their forehead, in order to be able to just do basic things like buy groceries or go to school or hold down a job or whatever. And if you refused it, they cut off your head with a guillotine.
Yeah.
And they showed that. And they showed people's heads being chopped off and falling into a plastic laundry basket. And it was the most... You got to remember, I didn't grow up watching TV or movie. I had I was coming just blank slate, just pure as the driven snow.
As far as you knew, that was real.
100%. That was the future. I was seeing the future. And that's when I was like, oh my God, I am 100% going to get the mark of the beast.
Right, which is like, what's the message they're trying to convey?
I'm sorry. Jesus will have to. I'm going to hell in one piece than to heaven in two. You know what I'm saying?
Because you're like, I think we could have got the lesson in the first minute when she wakes up and her husband's been raptured and she's lonely. Like, hey, you want to get raptured? That's kind of what we want. We don't need the rest of the movie.
That's right. Oh, dude, it was unbelievable. I'm sure there's a whole generation of young fundamentalist kids who are just absolutely traumatized by these videos.
And meanwhile, I'm like, I think we're almost exactly the same age, but I'm like this punk Northeastern horror movie guy at the time. And I tried to get a copy of that movie forever. It took me forever to get a bootleg, a VHS of that movie to watch it. And it is nuts. Like, people are probably familiar with like the Left Behind movies, but prior to that, like 70s, 80s, there are absolutely bonkers exploitation movies that are like made by Christian fundamentalists. And they are nuts.
No, they don't fuck around, man.
No.
They are making it absolutely clear that it's it's good. The future is going to be hell.
Barcodes, yeah.
So
I remember. I think it's Leviticus that says that it's against barcodes, right? Is that the? I don't even know if Leviticus is a thing in the Bible. That might be someone from Gladiator. And then before we get to the listings here, when I was scanning this for you, I was absolutely shocked by the thing on the Grapevine Insider on page 21, because there's a huge article on Elvez in here. And Elvez is someone who I've loved for years. He's an ex-Mexican Chicano punk rock kid from LA. He was literally in punk rock bands in the early 80s. And then became the Mexican Elvis. So he was doing like it's not an Elvis impersonation. He's got a pompadour, but he's got a mustache and, he's clearly Mexican, but he's got the suit on and he's amazing. And he put out all these great records, but super underground. This is an article about basically how great he is and how they're going to do a TV series on him, which never happened. But I'm like, Elvez is pretty obscure to have a full page story on.
Yeah, I had no idea who he was. So that's fascinating. I didn't realize.
A gay Mexican street kid, I should mention too. At that, yeah.
Wow, they didn't say that in the article. They didn't say that in the article.
No. Still performs. He wrote a really great book. Elvez is awesome. I was like, this is fantastic.
Wow. Did you notice that ad for the VCR multiplier?
Yes.
So you could watch a movie and it would be you could show it on multiple TVs in different rooms. I was like, I'm trying to think, who is that for? Like, if you want to watch a movie with your kids, but you don't want them to be in the same room with you, like, who's
you're like,
using
your mom
that?
and I want to be in here topless, but we want to monitor the film that you're watching. I have no idea. I see these at thrift stores all the time. I actually have one back here somewhere.
Oh, no kidding.
It's called the Rabbit, which is extra funny because the only other thing called the Rabbit is there's like a sex toy called that came out around the same time. So it says give a rabbit for the holidays. I don't know why this is called a rabbit. Like, it doesn't like what, but yeah, it duplicates the same image on up to, I think you can do up to 4 TVs, channels in any TV set. I honestly, like, aside from like a bar where you have multiple TVs, maybe you want to play the same thing.
Right.
Like,
that would make sense.
Commercial applications, but that's not what they're selling it for. It's like,
No.
they're literally showing a mom and dad watching skiing, and then their 3 kids watching skiing separately. Like, look, kids, you're not going to ruin this fucking skiing with your goddamn talk through the skiing. And we're not going to tape it and watch it later and have you ruin it about who won.
Right. I'm going to be fingering your mom. So you guys.
So we call it slalom. And you kids, what are we going for the record in here? Yeah, it's a weird product. I don't know who it was for. They clearly didn't sell a ton, and the people who bought them give them to thrift stores because I see them all the time.
Wow, that's fascinating. Also, how about O.J. Simpson hosting the
That
Heisman
was my
ceremony?
next thing.
Yeah.
Heisman winner to attend TV reunion. Remember when people could mention O.J. Simpson and the only thing they used to describe him was Heisman winner?
Yeah, man. That's
Oh, what a garbage
the good
human.
old
I'm so
days.
glad he's dead. There's a review of T2 in here. There's some really great articles in here. But then we get to the listing. So this is sort of a fantasy for you. Not like this was your fantasy, but like a hypothetical fantasy where you get to watch things here. So I'm very curious to see what you picked. So Saturday night, and we're in December, so there's a lot of Christmas content.
Yes.
Which you weren't allowed to watch either?
We did watch some. So we watched A Wonderful Life every year.
Okay.
And we watched
Which
the
is
Charlie
about
Brown.
suicide.
That's right.
Wonderful Life, not Charlie Brown.
The Charlie Brown 2 is about to. But so we watched Charlie Brown and we watched Frosty.
Okay.
So so there were a few that we were allowed to watch.
Frosty feels very blasphemous to me.
Really?
Because it's like an enchanted hat making like there's like graven images and you're bringing things to life. You're playing God. You know, I don't know. It seems, as a non-religious person, Frosty seems blasphemous.
I could see that. I don't know. For whatever reason, my parents thought it was fine. They kind of had this rule that if something was like made in like pre-1980s,
okay,
or maybe earlier, maybe 1960s, and it was animated, like they were generally okay with it.
Oh wow!
You know, and so like I was able to watch like. They were pretty cool with like Looney Tunes and stuff, but you look back on Looney Tunes now and you're like, Jesus Christ.
It's very subversive, and they teach you joke structure very well.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which you're reverse engineering that stuff. But the very first ever Christmas special was animated. It was in 1963, and it's Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol.
I've heard of this.
The only reason they did it was because they were like, look, we do these big live Christmas shows every year. What if we did an animated one? We could just re-show every year. So they did the Mr. Magoo one, and it's great. And it's really straight. It's like really done very seriously. And it's beautiful to look at, and it's really good.
Was it done to advertise like a particular department store or something?
Nope.
No.
Later they were. So like,
that's
Rudolph was like Norelco, I think.
Right.
And Charlie Brown was, I want to say, Coke at first. It would change often, but that was after they figured out that this model worked. Then they were like, now we monetize.
Right.
We can get someone to sponsor something we already paid for and already ran last year. It would be like if you put out the same comedy album every year.
Right. Oh man, yeah.
Different labels, like, whatever. It's great.
Yeah.
Don't have to do that again.
Actually, yeah.
So what are you doing that night?
Man, so this is pretty boring. I'm a huge basketball fan.
Okay.
And on that day, I actually noticed earlier in the day, it was a college basketball game, Duke versus Michigan. Big Duke basketball fan. I was a Duke fan of this particular team at that time, and they were playing Michigan, which was a huge matchup. So I would have caught that. And then the Boston Celtics playing the New York Knicks that night, baby. I mean, that was pretty great game. I'm pretty sure that had I been able to, that's what I would have been watching.
And I forget if this is right after Larry Bird had retired.
Yeah, Larry Bird would have been, I think, retired by then.
89 or 90. Because after he retired, nobody here cared about the Celtics for about 10 years.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And you could go into games for free.
What?
Like, literally, when I was a teenager, once the game started, they would just let you in because it would be like half full and they'd be like, I don't know, maybe they'll buy beers, whatever. I don't know. So you could just walk in, like, especially in the winter, if we were bored teenagers and nothing to do, you just walk into like a Celtics game and sit down.
Wow. Well, I was a huge Celtics fan because, like all white grandfathers, it was my grandpa's favorite team. Mm-hmm. And so when I was really little, that's the only NBA team we would watch was the Celtics.
Did he like Kevin McHale best because he felt that Bird was showboating? So that's a grandfather thing.
I never heard that, but that makes a lot of sense because there was nothing smooth or showboaty about Kevin McHale. That was the most awkward, like.
If Conan O'Brien wasn't
together,
funny
man,
and had no charisma, he would be Kevin McHale. Even in Boston, we used to call him Kevin McPale. That's how much he was looked at that way. So.
The white man's white man.
Yes,
that's incredible.
Yes. So Winnie the Pooh and Christmas 2 is on, which is a pretty garbage Christmas special, which is why it's not rerun or well remembered.
That's surprising. You would think there would be a great Winnie the Pooh Christmas special.
I feel like Winnie the Pooh exists in its own universe that having a real world holiday is like oddly. It like breaks the show, like breaks the concept
interesting.
In a weird way.
Right. Yeah.
I think. But a great movie is on Ernest Saves Christmas. And I'm not kidding. It is a legitimately great Christmas movie. And I was surprised to see it was airing on a network this night. It's the network premiere. And this movie is absolutely a perfect, good family Christmas movie. It's funny, it has a good message, it's sweet, it's well made. I recommend it to people all the time. I watch it every year.
I will actually watch that because I saw, Ernest Goes to Camp.
Oh yeah.
I caught that at my grandparents' house probably around this time.
Sure am glad it's
loved
raining.
It.
Yeah, he's got the turtle.
Dude was incredible.
Yeah, this is the sequel to that, and it's a better movie. And I enjoyed Ernest Goes to Camp too. Okay. Often I find myself go,
yes.
And people are like, "Did you know Jim Carrey?" And I'm like, "No, it's Jim Varney."
Yeah. Whatever happened to that guy?
He died.
Oh,
no, he did a bunch of other roles. Like he played Jed Clampett in the Beverly Hillbillies movie. He was a great actor. He would play a lot of
tragic death.
No, I think he was just like in his 60s and smoked for 40 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he had a Saturday morning.
He was that old. Okay.
Yeah, he was old because he was like a regional guy, and the way Ernest got popular was he was in these like regional commercials for like, I forget what it was, like a pool cleaning company or something with the Vern thing. And then it caught on and other people started hiring him to do ads. And then like nationally it caught on and it became a thing. It's like a very weird story of how he did this.
Wow, that's really cool. Good for him.
Ernest Saves Christmas is shot in Orlando, Florida, and which is where they were all from. And he has this like cast of friends that were basically his comedy troupe that are all in the movie. And like, it's a very small regional, like kind of indie spirit movie, which also he should get more credit for.
Yeah. Wow. What a wild story.
Yeah. I'm here to spread the gospel of Ernest. Gospel in earnest. Sunday, what are you doing?
Sunday. Oh man, I'm watching In Living Color. which I saw maybe 2 episodes of in my entire life.
Yeah.
But that was enough. I was hooked. I was like, if I had a TV, I would watch this as much as I could.
Doesn't hold up.
Oh, really? Okay. I haven't gone back.
I will say a lot of kids really liked it. And if you go back and watch it, you'll see why and why it doesn't hold up. Groundbreaking show. And I'm all for like an all black cast, main, like prime time sketch comedy show. But man, it's hateful and lazy a lot of the time.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Like there's a character called Handyman who's a superhero, but is mentally handicapped. That's the whole joke.
Oh,
they don't
wow.
do anything with it. They just laugh at him. He talks like it's terrible. Like a lot of that.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But, you know, some funny people on there. And then what were you doing?
After that, I would probably check out Funniest People,
Yeah.
which I am guessing is kind of like America's Funniest Home Videos.
This was
I don't
the
think I ever saw it.
spin-off sequel series.
Okay.
So America's Funniest Home Videos was such a huge hit. They were like, how do we capitalize on this? We don't have more videos. So what do we do? We're going to go to shopping malls and set up cameras and have people do like tell jokes or do like impressions or like all this kind of stuff like your average person. And we'll do that and we'll show like short films people make and send in. And we'll get Dave Coulier to host it because another Full House comedian.
Yeah.
And it was real bad. But it was a huge hit because I think most people didn't even notice it wasn't America's Funniest Home Videos anymore.
Wow. Yeah, they would just kind of just blend it into each other. Yeah.
Yeah, like this one says, America's Funniest People. A bibbed dog sings for his supper at the dinner table. A youngster gives an impressive impression of Madonna. Also, announcing a contest to find a name for the jackalope.
Hilarious. By the way, you mentioned Madonna.
Yeah.
Did you see in the letters to the editor in this article, these people from, I think it's Evansville, Illinois, I guess Madonna visited, and they're all writing letters to complain and tell her to never come back?
Yeah. Like that's how you get to Madonna. Like, how do we get a letter to her? Put it in the TV Guide. I know she reads that.
Right. Oh, it's hilarious.
Madonna's like,
they were like, why can't she be take a lesson from Paula Abdul
and go away? Yeah, this was like a prayer era Madonna. So this was like maximum controversy Madonna right before the sex book. I do remember this kid doing the Madonna impression. In hindsight, it's like a 12-year-old doing a full drag show. And he's clearly like a gay little kid. And it's kind of awesome. But they were like, wow, that's so funny. And I'm like, this kid's being dead serious with this impression.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, for sure. Wow.
And then what do you got?
After that, I would probably watch National Geographic Explorer because I remember that was one of the shows my dad would watch. And I have good memories of watching some National Geographic with him. And they're always just so well done.
Oh,
and, super interesting. And I don't know what this one was about, but probably deep sea exploration. They seem to do that all the time.
I was just looking. It doesn't say, but yeah, I'm terrified of deep sea animals. Like that's my biggest fear, like is being attacked by a squid in water that I can't see the bottom. And most of it's from watching things like that.
That's fair. Yeah. They did one episode on these treasure hunters, these deep sea treasure hunters that would go and find these old like sunken ships. And I just remember thinking, wow, that's what I want to do with my life. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. But like,
You could do that?
You can do that. You know, it's crazy. My dad took me to this hotel ballroom in San Antonio where this guy made this whole presentation and then he was basically fundraising for his expedition. And if you helped fund it, if he found treasure, you would get some percentage of it. And I don't know whatever happened. I guess my dad didn't give him any money, or maybe the guy just never found anything because I don't think anything came
or it was a scam.
Or it was just a total. I'm almost certain that's what it was.
I like how that's like not even. You're like, maybe he didn't find anything. Like, yeah, it's probably a scam.
Come on, don't ruin it for me, man. I want to think he's still out there, and we still might get a check.
We'll find him. He's looking for you. It's the network premiere of Who's Harry Crumb, which is again an underrated movie. It's a John Candy like detective comedy, and I freaking love this movie. I love this movie.
I mean, Candy's great.
This is like
I've never heard of it though.
It didn't do very well, and it's like truly John Candy starring in a movie. He's not co-starring. He's not, and he's being like big. It's not like I love sad John Candy and like Only the Lonely and even Great Outdoors or like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. This is like full on comedy. Wacky John Candy, but it's really fun and dumb, and no one liked it, and I really like this movie. And I don't know why they're showing it around Christmas time, but I'll watch it. Because the other option is you could watch what looks to be one of the most depressing movies I've ever heard of, which is a CBS Sunday night movie called Christmas on Division Street, starring Fred Savage and Hume Cronin, a tender story about a homeless man who finds refuge in a young boy's heart.
Oh man, I saw the ad for that.
It does not look good.
No, it did not.
That does not look good.
No, that old man looked pretty creepy, actually.
There's also an ad in here for the show Silk Stalkings, which was a show about a sexy private detective agency that was canceled by CBS and then picked up by USA Network for new episodes. But I love this because the tagline, like I want to get business cards printed just to use this tagline. And it says, hot-blooded passion. Cold-blooded crimes. How great is you name that and a phone number?
That's incredible.
You get so many calls. Monday, what are you doing?
Monday, MacGyver. My best friend down the street, his family watched MacGyver religiously, so I was always trying to find some excuse to be down at his house at that time, and just absolutely loved that show, man. Just thought he was the coolest guy in the world.
Remember what his first name was? They revealed it eventually.
No.
Angus.
Are you kidding?
No.
Angus?
Angus.
What the hell?
Yeah.
No wonder he went by MacGyver.
Kind of ruins the mystique a little bit. So when you're like sneaking these shows, did you have to come home and your parents were like, what were you doing? And you were like, not watching MacGyver. like you didn't want to get caught? Or was it kind of like...
I was at Bible study.
Yeah.
No, they didn't seem to... I don't remember ever really being interrogated too much. I do remember them... They would talk to my grandparents because my grandmother, she would let me just watch whatever I wanted and stay up as late as I wanted, and they didn't like that. And so they were
undermining their authority.
That's right. So they would talk to her, but if I was just going up to the friend's house, they usually didn't ask too many questions. So, thank God for that.
There's a Christmas episode of MacGyver that is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And it's a youth church. Their Madonna disappears in the church. And they're trying to think someone stole it. But this woman appears who's actually the Madonna.
Whoa.
And like
magical realist MacGyver?
Yes. And with MacGyver's help, they end up saying, I don't know, there's some developers or whatever the regular MacGyver plot is. And then at the end, he's all like, well, thank you. And like turns around and the statue's back and she's gone. Like, it's like a whole, like, it's ridiculous.
That actually sounds pretty awesome.
It's very entertaining. I will say that. It is very entertaining. So you're doing MacGyver, and then what do you got?
And then I'm going home and I'm watching It's a Wonderful Life with my parents.
Great movie. Worth watching every year. There's a holiday special on starring Lloyd Bridges and Michael Tucker from LA Law called In the Nick of Time, an incredible race to save Christmas. Santa has 24 hours to find his replacements or the lights of Christmas go out forever. That's actually the plot of Ernest Saves Christmas.
Oh, no shit.
That is 100% the plot. So I'm like, what was up with 1991? They're just like, retiring. I don't know. It's like everyone...
That guy was shopping the script around and two people made an offer and he was like, yeah, you can both take it. Do what you want.
And on that same page, this is page 58 of the PDF, there's as someone who suffers from clinical depression and has my whole life, this ad instantly caught my eye. And it's this woman and a heart, and it says, a place for us where healing begins with love. Feeling heavy with depression? It's all underlined. Finally, there's a place for us. And I'm like, okay, what's this going to be? And it says, if you're hungry for life, heartwarming professionals want to make a difference in your life with major insurance coverage.
Amazing.
And it's only
is it a place?
I don't know. I think so. It's in
because
California.
You know what it made me think of is there's a thing called I see ads for a place for mom.
Oh yes, I knew.
Which is for like nursing homes.
Yes,
it's like a nursing home, and I was like, oh, I wonder, is this related to that? Like, was this an extension of that same kind of business?
Maybe. I mean, this is a low rent looking ad, and there's
really
also on the side there's a cartoon of a pig with baby pigs suckling it. And it says, it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you.
Oh, right. I was like, is that a weight loss book that they're also trying to promote?
But also are they trying to say like
separate ad?
It's bad that this mother pig is feeding her own children. Like they're like, these piglets are eating her alive. I'm like, what is the messaging here?
I know.
It's very, very, very confused by this whole thing. Best-selling author Janet Greason, PhD. What do you think her PhD is in? Because I don't think it's in biology or clinical psychology or
maybe that's why they have that depressed woman in the picture. She's got postpartum depression from suckling her children.
Her piglets. Like, she gave birth to piglets and they sucked her soul out of her. Yeah. Tuesday, what are you doing?
Tuesday. Oh man, we've got Lakers versus Bulls. This was the Jordan era. This was the same year that Lakers played the Bulls in the finals. So
Magic
this was
in
a
the
rematch.
Lakers still?
He was. They had just. That was his last finals year, and that was the first year that Jordan won. So this is the first game since the Bulls beat the Lakers in the finals. And so I definitely would have watched that. Huge Jordan fan and huge Magic fan, even though my grandpa hated him. But because he was the antithesis, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, he was Larry Bird's nemesis.
Yeah, right. So I would have watched that for sure. And that would have been the whole night, probably.
It's funny that, like, Michael Jordan was beloved among all children, even people that didn't watch sports. Mm-hmm. Actually, to the point where in this year, 91, we had a substitute teacher in class one day in 8th grade, and she didn't want to take attendance, so she handed around like a sheet for everyone to sign in on. And so kids all wrote fake names. And we got caught because the teacher's reading the names, and she goes, "Who's Mickley Gordon?" And this kid stands up and he goes, "It's supposed to say Michael Jordan." And she was like, "You all have detention. Everyone has detention." But it's hilarious that people now are like, "Oh yeah, Michael Jordan's an asshole."
Oh, right.
But they're but we kind of expected that.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
he's not like a criminal
about that at the time. But,
no, he's not assaulting people. But you're like, oh, of course he was an asshole.
Yeah. No, dude. Yeah, he was.
No way. No. I do want to point out at 8:10 on MTV for an hour and 50 minutes. Hosting MTV is a good friend of the show, friend of mine. Duff is hosting. Karen Duffy, she's the best. Just have to do a shout out to her. Speaking of which, the Pope died recently, and I was at Karen's house years ago, her apartment, and like randomly, there's just like a picture on the wall of like her and the Pope.
Oh wow!
Like hanging out.
Yeah. before one of those MTV parties.
Yeah, I'm like, there's no Pope. Oh, yeah, it's just the Pope. Not a big deal. Turner and Hooch is on, the beloved Tom Hanks and the dog movie, which I've never seen.
I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing. I think I probably caught part of it on TV. I just remember that slobbery, being grossed out. Honestly, I was grossed out by the dog. I think that's why I didn't finish it.
They've tried to make it a TV series twice. The second series, which was fairly recently, I think starred Colin Hanks.
Oh, no way.
But weirdly, he was playing Hooch.
Wait, is that the good? Oh, that's funny.
That's the good son. Yes,
the good son. Okay,
not the rapper.
I would rather watch it with the rapper, honestly.
Yeah. There's a great Roseanne episode on that night. It's a Christmas episode where Roseanne plays Santa at the mall. So you never got to go see like Santa at the mall. or anything like that?
Again, my grandparents took me to stuff like that.
Okay.
Sometimes without telling my parents.
Okay.
So I did get some Santa lap time at the mall.
Did you get what you asked him for? Or were you like, wow, even Santa didn't come and give me what I wanted for Christmas?
Oh, man. No, I'm pretty sure I got it, actually.
Okay.
Pretty sure I got it. I don't think I ever got too crazy. We were pretty simple folk down there in South Texas.
Thank you for this Whitland stick, Dad.
Exactly. Can I get a corncob pipe, please?
Well, at least there wasn't like kids at school wouldn't be like, what'd you get for Christmas? And you'd have to be like, they're like, I got Nintendo. And you'd be like, I got an orange, because there's no one to ask you that.
No one cares. Right. There's no one to compare to. That's absolutely right. I was just comparing to my brothers and sisters. So.
Yeah. But they got a Nintendo and you didn't.
They got the...
Wednesday night, what are you doing?
Unsolved Mysteries. Yeah, big fan.
Did you watch that when it was on, or is this something you discovered later?
I watched at least a few episodes while it was on. And that might have also been at my friend's down the street. I feel like that was another one of the shows they might have been into. And it was terrifying.
Yeah.
At that age,
It's terrifying.
really, is it? It probably is.
The
I
theme
think
song.
they brought them back like onto Netflix, I think.
So it's weird. Like, so after Robert Stack died, they had, oh my God, why am I forgetting his name? Dennis Farina hosted, which I love Dennis Farina, but it wasn't the same. He used to be a cop. He's a Chicago guy. So nothing feels like a mystery. Because with Farina hosting, you're like, Farina will take care of this. Because he's not like 87653, but Farina's like, this dirtbag. And you're just like, he's got it. I don't know. But the Netflix one, they call it Unsolved Mysteries, but it's actually like hour-long single stories. Like, it's basically just like a true crime documentary. Because this one is segments on an abusive grandmother who has reportedly kidnapped her 2-year-old granddaughter, a convicted murderer who claims he's innocent in his wife's 1983 murder, a fugitive's capture outside Birmingham, Alabama, and 2 Ojibwa sisters from Manitoba who are searching for their estranged sister.
I mean, you gotta respect the attempt at diversity.
Yeah, and no supernatural story in that one. That was what threw me off.
Oh, yeah.
Because the thing that messed me up as a kid, and I say it on the show all the time, is they would put like a Bigfoot on the same level as like a real life murder. So it would literally be like Bigfoot and a rapist, and they would treat them the same way with the same legitimacy. And I was like, I'm so confused. So confused.
What am I supposed to be scared of?
Yeah. Is this bad for him or him? Frosty the Snowman's on.
Yep.
And of course the Bob Hope cross country Christmas show.
What in the world is that?
So be thankful you've never seen a Bob Hope special. Bob Hope, up until like the mid 90s, for literally 60 years, would have 4 to 5 hour-long comedy specials every year. And there would be variety shows and with sketches and like music and painfully unfunny. This episode, he's got Reba McEntire, Macaulay Culkin, Miss America 1992 Carolyn Sapp, a special tribute to Red Fox, who had just died, Dolores Hope, who's his wife. I don't know why she's listed as a guest star. Like, she's not even famous. And Tanis Ann Turrentine, the 1992 Rose Queen. These are unwatchable.
I mean, so Macaulay Culkin would have been, I guess, probably around my same age at that time.
Yeah, this would have been post Home Alone. He's the biggest star on this.
Yeah.
It's Dana Gould.
Yeah, the comedian.
Dana has this amazing story. There was a Bob Hope Young comedian special, and Dana was on it. This is like 1990 or something. And Bob Hope's like 100 years old and completely senile. And they're shooting the promos. And what the promo's supposed to be is Bob Hope and Dana's like, hey, watch the Bob Hope special, whatever. And Bob Hope's supposed to go, didn't you used to be my caddy? Because he was all about golf and all this stuff.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So they do the take, and he goes, didn't you used to whoa. And then, so they're like, cut. And they're like, Bob, we're going to have to do that again. What was wrong with that one? and so they're like, well, and he's like, that was fine. And they had to tell him that there was something messed up with like a technical issue.
The audio.
And so Dana's told this story for years, but in the last year or something, he found the footage and he's uploaded it. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Oh my God.
Didn't you used to be about whoa, whoa, whoa. What's wrong with that one? Yeah, not funny. I don't like Bob Hope. There's also a USA world premiere movie on. These were always great because USA Network, basic cable, would do the sleaziest TV movies, and they had the weirdest premises. And this one is a Jaws ripoff, and it's starring Timothy Busfield in the role that what's his name plays in the movie. Oh my God, I'm forgetting so many names tonight. Not Quint. Oh my God.
I'm never going to be able to help you with a single name.
Yeah, no, everyone's screaming at me. He's got the beard. He's in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But anyway, in that role is Timothy Busfield, who played Poindexter in Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh, wow.
And it's called Strays. And it's a horror
about
movie
the cats?
about stray cats. And it says, strays. No one ever said they were man's best friend. And it's not a comedy. Richard Dreyfuss. That's what I was trying to think of. Richard Dreyfuss.
Wow. Yeah, of course. Okay.
So they've made Timothy Busfield look as much as Richard Dreyfuss as possible. The drawings of these cats are off. They're not photos. They're like airbrushed, like carnival drawings of cats with messed up eyes. It's a full page ad too. So they sprung for a full page ad.
Yeah. Wow.
I've never seen this and I feel like I need to see this. TV Guide gives it 2 stars.
Yikes.
That's what they gave Ernest Saves Christmas.
Oh, well. Maybe you'll love it.
I also love that it's December 18th and they're like, what do we got for holiday stuff? Throw that Strays movies on. Perfect. Anything else on Wednesday?
Doogie Howser. I did catch a couple episodes of that and I liked it, so I would have probably checked that out.
Is there anything that when you were growing up you like didn't get to see but were like really wanted to, and as an adult you've like binged and gone back and watched?
The Simpsons.
Okay.
Yeah, we were not allowed to watch Simpsons because Bart was like, the way he talked to his dad was disrespectful or whatever. So we're not allowed to watch that.
I like that it was because Bart was disrespectful, not because Homer chokes him.
Oh no! This is Texas. That's good parenting.
Yeah,
that's
exactly
model parenting. So The Simpsons. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones.
Speaking of Texas, did you watch King of the Hill?
Oh, I loved King. So King of the Hill. Actually, the research that he did for those characters was in the San Marcos, New Braunfels, Texas area, which is where I was born.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I recognize every single one of those characters. I'm either related to them or they lived down the street from me. I mean, it is such a great show. He nails it so well, and I can't say I love King of the Hill. Absolutely,
it's very good. Yeah. It's a really good show, and I don't even have that personal connection to it, and it's that good. Yeah,
no, amazing for sure.
Thursday, what are you doing?
Thursday. Oh, the Simpsons holiday special.
Yep, this is the second.
Was this the first Simpsons?
No, the first Simpsons was 1989, Christmas 1989. So it started on the Tracy Ullman Show, which was a sketch comedy show. And there was a couple different cartoons that would be like 30-second little cartoons throughout the show. The Simpsons was just one of them.
Okay.
So Fox, that show started in 87. So 89, they did a Simpsons half-hour special, Christmas special. It was such a massive hit that they greenlit a Simpsons series for 1990. So this is Simpsons Seasons 2. This is their second Christmas episode after the special. Because now they were like, well, we're the Christmas show, so we're going to have another Christmas special.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Which is really good.
I definitely would have jumped in on that one.
There's a show called Top Cops. And Top Cops was like if Unsolved Mysteries wasn't mysteries, it was just people reenacting police reports. That's kind of what Top Cops was.
Okay.
And this is the Top Cops Christmas special.
What?
And it's cops recount stories
Why?
of Christmases past. Minnesota's Sherry Dexter recalls risking her life and her unborn babies while confronting a gunman dressed as Santa Claus in 1989. 2 days before Christmas in 1980, Ohio's Peter Tobin was on a stakeout outside of a supermarket when it was robbed. It's the time of year that brings out the best in people and the worst in the criminal element, he says. An example of a true holiday spirit is revealed in the story of Los Angeles partners Kevin Becker and Juan Santos, who saved Christmas from a South LA family in 1989 after a Grinch-like burglar stole practically everything from their home.
Incredible.
So this is cops telling the story, and then they would hire actors and have reenactments.
Wow. Like Rescue 911 kind of
Yes,
style?
it was a ripoff
Yeah.
of Rescue 911. So Rescue 911 was such a huge hit that you got Top Cops and Real Stories of the Highway Patrol. Those are the ripoff shows of Rescue 911.
God.
Top Cops. Oh my God. A Christmas
Unbelievable.
special. So you're doing Simpsons, and then what do you got going on?
Probably the Beverly Hills 90210
Christmas
90-minute special. Yeah.
Tonight
Why
at
not?
8:30, join us for a 90-minute holiday episode. It's the most special time of the year. Okay. They don't really tell you anything that happens in it, but they're just like, it's
Doesn't matter, man. It's just eye candy.
It's not 1991. It's 90210. It's Christmas. You're going to watch it.
That's it. Yep. 100%.
The movie Can't Buy Me Love is on at 9 o'clock on USA, which I'm 100% watching. I love
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Patrick Dempsey plays a high school nerd who saves up to buy this telescope. And the coolest girl in school borrows her mother's suede dress to go to a party, and someone spills wine on it. So he sees her at the mall trying to get this dress clean so her mom doesn't find out. And they're like, we can't clean it. You're going to have to buy a new one. She's like, I don't have the money. So he goes, how about I rent you with this money I have for the telescope, and you can buy the dress and I'll rent you as my girlfriend. And she's like, sure. And then the movie starts.
What happens?
Well,
Does he get the girl?
he becomes too cool, and she becomes a better person. He turns into a bad person because he's popular.
Okay.
He forsakes his old friends. Everything's fine in the end, but it's a real lesson movie. And Courtney Gaines, who plays his best friend in it, and also was Malachi in Children of the Corn, is one of the few people I do an accurate impression of. And I interviewed him at a convention once, and he and I got to do the lines from this movie together, where he goes, he's confronting Patrick Dempsey about how they're no longer friends anymore. And he goes, you threw shit at my house. It's a real moving scene. And he said it was a good impression. So just saying,
I mean, from the man himself.
He would know. But this is like a semi-beloved 80s teen movie about renting the popular girl at school.
That's incredible.
And that's how they word it. Like in the trailer, she goes, you want to rent me?
That's wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Worth
Well,
watching.
that makes me think, you want to hear some crazy shit that I was a part of a church that to raise money for the youth group, they would hold what they called a slave auction.
Yep.
And people in the congregation would bid on members of the youth group to come and do work around their house. And that's how we raised money to go to summer camp.
That was big in the South, and we had nothing like that here. And when I first started hearing about kids' experience with that, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, this was in the 90s. So renting people was still an option in certain places.
Yeah, you could write a movie about it because it was people's real experience.
That's right.
They weren't buying them. Yeah. That would be wrong. It's just it's like a tuxedo.
Yeah, no, it's like Blockbuster.
Yeah. So Friday, final night of the week. What are you doing?
Charlie Brown Christmas.
Classic. So good.
Yep.
Watch it every
So
year.
good.
It's perfect.
Yep. The album is amazing.
And that's a Christmas special like everybody loves. Like Christians love it. They're like, this is a very pro-Christian. But then like
Sure.
me, like an atheist, I'm like, this is very atheistic.
Sure.
But the true spirit of the like I've never met
Sure.
anyone who doesn't like this special.
Yeah, I haven't either.
It's
or
perfect.
who doesn't like the album. Like it's iconic. It is just so good. And the fact that it was made for a TV special is crazy.
And like it was so innovative. They had real kids doing the voices, which was like unheard of, but it's so like what makes it. It's just smart and great. And then obviously It's a Great Pumpkin is just underneath as being as good. And then there's a giant drop off the cliff for Thanksgiving and then everything else.
Really? You feel like that? I liked the Thanksgiving
I feel like the
special.
Thanksgiving, you like it because you're like, remember Christmas and Halloween? Those were great.
Probably. Yeah. That's right.
There's too much
That's probably
peppermint
it.
patty. There's kind of nothing happening.
She's kind of annoying.
Yeah, she invites
Yeah.
herself over. Like, fuck off.
That's
Peppermint
true.
Patty.
That was annoying.
Also,
Yeah.
put some shoes on.
Yeah. It's gross.
Yeah.
Come on. It's the
Come on,
90s.
it's
What are we
November.
doing?
But yeah, 100% have to watch it if I'm ever flipping channels and that's on, always watch it.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt. And then I'm going to do America's Most Wanted. Catch the last half hour of that. Because of course I need who's out. I need to know who's out there. Who am I going to be looking for?
Yeah.
When I go to the grocery store or the bank with my mom.
Who do I want to be on constant high alert, total anxiety? And here's who it is. A Houston man wanted in the New Year's Eve 1990 murder of a security guard and a sex offender who jumped bail after a rape arrest. And an update on a Jamaican illegal alien wanted for killing his girlfriend.
Oh wow, that could be right out of the headlines.
Yeah.
That could be a statement out of the White House.
Yeah.
Actually.
Although they don't, I don't find that they complain about Jamaicans that much.
Not really. You're right. You're right.
There was a
come
blip
long way.
in the late 80s, early 90s where Jamaicans were like the #1 villain in action movies. There's like
That's
8 action
interesting.
movies with like killer Jamaicans and then nothing before, nothing after.
And then Cool Runnings came out, and it was like, oh, okay.
We love them. They're fine.
We love them.
Yeah. There is a Christmas special on. I think it only aired this one year. And it's Ronald McDonald's Family Theater presents The Wish That Changed Christmas. A sentimental Christmas tale by Rumer Golden called The Story of Holly and Ivy inspired this cartoon, which revolves around an orphan, a childless couple, a doll, and a toy shop employee on a fateful Christmas night. Ronald McDonald's Family Theater, which presented one thing, and it was this.
That's why we don't hear about it anymore.
Yeah. McDonald's Family Theater. And it says, your host, Ronald McDonald. So he's like reading the book.
No way. Oh, dude, what a nightmare.
I feel like I need to see this. It sounds
Yeah,
so
for real.
terrible. Oh my God. Jeez. And then what are you doing at 9?
I think I would watch either it's like the rodeo national finals.
Okay.
And listen, I mean, Texas kid, I love a good rodeo, and I would watch it when it was on TV.
Have you participated in a rodeo?
No, I never rode. My grandpa rode. He rode Broncos and Bulls, but no, I would be terrified. Never.
So you never had like a cool belt buckle?
Listen, I mean, everybody's got a cool belt buckle down there. It doesn't mean they're riding bulls.
That's
right?
true.
I mean,
I feel like we don't talk enough about Texas belt buckle culture.
yeah, and now it's all been appropriated by these Austin comedians who moved to Austin from California and New York and Boston, and all of a sudden they've got a cowboy hat and a belt buckle.
They're
and
like,
think
look at
they're
me
the
with my
shit.
world's greatest grandpa belt buckle and my 10-gallon hat.
Like, please, give me a break, dude.
I've ridden horses. That's weird that you haven't. I have.
Oh, I've ridden horses. I thought you were asking if I've actually done a rodeo.
Oh, okay.
Like a bucking bull or
Yeah.
a bronco. No. Yeah, no. I've definitely rode horses. Yeah.
You ever lassoed anything?
I I think I made an attempt. I think I did. I was at like some kind of rodeo event where you were supposed to try and rope a sheep. They like release a sheep.
Yeah,
I know, but I was so terrible at it that that sheep had it made
that sheep
against
roped
me.
you.
Like, yeah, no kidding. Like I was stumbling all over the place.
She pulled the wool over your eyes.
Oh, come on now.
Here's a question, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want. Do you currently own a cowboy hat?
I don't.
Okay. Do you feel, and how do you feel about that?
Man, I feel okay about it because I don't feel like with my like if I were to wear a cowboy hat now, it would just be I'd be a poser because it's not the life that I'm living.
You're not eating beans. You're not. Yeah.
I'm not running cattle. I'm not. I'm not at the rodeo. So, so I would just feel like I would be embarrassed if I were to wear it unironically.
Gotcha.
So no, I don't even own a pair of boots, which I do feel kind of bad about. I mean, my son actually, I have teenage boys, and one of them was going to a square dance last night, and he was asking me if I had any boots he could wear, and I was like, I don't have any. He was like, Dad, I thought you were from Texas.
Right.
You don't have any cowboy boots? And I did feel, because everyone else in my family wore boots, I never was a boot guy, and I think maybe it was from watching too much Unsolved Mysteries and America's Most Wanted, but I felt like I couldn't run in boots.
You can't. There's no grip.
I wanted to be able to run.
Yeah.
And so I just never got into boots. I always wanted to wear tennis shoes.
It's people who are like, and apologies for this terrible accent I'm about to do, being like, I don't want to get shit in my boots, so let's make them real smooth so I fall over.
That's pretty good, actually.
Okay, I think we've solved one problem with another, but that's fine. What you should have told your son was, when you left Texas, they stripped you of your boots. They're like,
they took my gun, they took my boots,
your
they took
boots.
my hat.
Don't come back. You're gonna walk barefoot out of Texas in shame. There's a show on. So I've we'll wrap up here. I've tape traded for 30 years, and which sounds quaint now with YouTube and all that, but there's a ton of shows that were holy grails I eventually got tapes of. So many of them have been found on YouTube. I found every show I've ever been looking for that I watched when I was a kid, except for one. And it's on this night at 9:30. It was on Fox. It was called The Best of the Worst, and it was hosted by Greg Kinnear. And it was like a comedy magazine show, almost like The Daily Show without the monologue parts. Like if The Daily Show was just the segments. Mm-hmm. And this is segments on celebrity garbage, an Elvis lookalike convention, airline food taste tests by a Cajun chef, bizarre dog tricks, and movies.
Why not?
I loved this show so much, and it was on for such a short time, and I've never been able to revisit it, and I have no idea if it's any good, and it drives me crazy. To the point where I've had people I know who know Greg Kinnear ask Greg Kinnear if he had any tapes of the show, and he doesn't.
He's like, hell no, we burned them all.
Yeah, he's like, no, don't talk to me anymore. But then there's also Monsters, House of Style, and Ray Bradbury Theater, which is like, if you wanted a picture of what 11-year-old little Ken Reed was like, Monsters, House of Style, and Ray Bradbury Theater is pretty much that's the three pieces of the puzzle right there.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, loved fashion, loved Cindy Crawford, and Monsters and Ray Bradbury.
I mean, who didn't love Cindy Crawford?
That's true. House of Style was everything. Still love her. Still looks great. Well, that is the week. Thank you so much for doing this. Is there a show that like your kids have introduced you to? Have they got into any old shows or anything?
Oh, old shows? Oh, gosh.
Because like a lot of kids, like Full House,
actually,
Friends.
Dude, Beavis and Butthead.
Ah.
Yeah, my 18-year-old was talking about Beavis and Butthead the other day, and he was doing the voice, the laugh that.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, like it brought me back. I had not heard that in 20 years at least, and yeah, he loves it. He says it's hilarious. So I don't know how it holds up. I haven't watched it in forever.
It's Mike Judge.
Yeah, right. I know. It's probably pretty good.
Did you see that Ryan Gosling SNL sketch with the Beavis and Butthead thing from?
Yes.
I don't
Brilliant.
watch SNL much anymore, but
Me either.
that sketch kills me.
Truly.
He's
It is
so funny
good.
in that.
Yes. Yes.
He's like,
Absolutely.
"Me?" Oh,
Yeah.
it's so funny. Beavis and Butthead, I'm glad it exists just so that sketch is there alone. That's all it takes.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Well, this has been so great. I want to thank you for sitting down and talking to me, and this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. This really was, this was cool. I feel like I learned a lot.
I'm sorry.
No, I needed it.
There you go. That's Jeremy. Awesome dude. Glad he did the show. I was unfamiliar with him before, but I love this guy. Super fun guy, very funny, and ridiculously nice. And what a story. My God, homeschooled in Texas. And the album's very funny. Buy the album, Jeremy Alder, Almost a Grown Man on Blonde Medicine Records. You can buy it, stream it, do whatever you like, but support Jeremy. If you'd like to support me, and my birthday's next week, everybody. You can do so at patreon.com/TV Guidance Counselor for $5 or more a month. You would have got a PDF of this very issue that Jeremy and I discuss here, and you could play along with the show. Or if you have, I don't know, say you hit the lottery, you win a couple $100 million, you want to give me like 5. I'm not going to say no. But I'm also just happy with you listening to the show. So please be here next week for that brand new edition of TV Guidance Counselor.
I'm going to be fingering your mom.